Hi, I'm Matt Betz with Ore Creek Fleet. This is Booker. We're here with Sara, and you are on the road with Booker and Betz. Sara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I've been in government fleet for 16 years now, and I've been in the automotive industry for 26 years, which is hard to believe.
What did you do before government fleet?
I worked at a retail automotive store.
Okay.
Yep, I helped write service and sell tires and learned a lot about vehicles and got involved with working with some of our fleet customers. And I was like, what is this fleet thing? And I ended up waiting to see if a position came open with one of our accounts, which was the Highway Patrol in Ohio, which is originally where I'm from. And I ended up getting a job there as the fleet office supervisor. And it was an amazing opportunity. The fleet manager was leaving and they wanted somebody to come on and learn the position under them. And I got my certification there, my CAFM, and wanted to move to Paradise. So I moved to Palm Beach County, Florida. And for the last 9 years, I was the director of fleet management there for Palm Beach County. And last year for 2023, I won Public Sector Fleet Manager of the Year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are still in Paradise. We're here in Delray Beach, Florida, across the state from our last interviews on Saturday. So, Sara, the way that we like to talk about this is, using the road analogy. We start off with the high road, and that is something that you're working on currently or that you've worked on recently. Certainly being Public Fleet Manager of the Year would qualify. But what are some things you're working on that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, one of the things I'm excited about right now that's I think a lot of people are looking at are the opportunities with AI. I'm currently now with RTA, the Fleet Success Company, which is a software company for fleet management. And one of the projects we're working on is AI, and not just rolling AI into the software, but how we can use AI to improve our jobs. And so we're each kind of looking at that individually to see how it can help enhance what we do.
Yeah, we've just finished conference season. And every single fleet conference I've been to, has had at least one session, if not more, on AI and how it might help us as fleet professionals do our jobs better. What types of things is RTA working on for the future?
Well, so one of the big things right now is, and I'm sure you've probably talked a lot about this in the past because I know that you are really involved with safety, and that is telematics. And so there's a big need to aggregate all the different data points that, fleet companies may have, which could be telematics, their fuel software. So looking at how to aggregate that data and get actionable insights out of it and, make the data useful. I think the big challenge right now for fleets is kind of getting it all in a centralized place and being able to use it in the best way that you can.
Yeah, I saw a presentation that I thought was so interesting at a conference. The speaker was, of course, speaking about AI, and he said, let me show you how far we've advanced. And he said last year he was preparing for a presentation, and he asked AI, I guess, one of the, I forget the names of them, but where you go for assistance, and said, create an image of an electric van with issues. And so he showed the result, and it was this sort of cartoonish picture with a lightning bolt on the side of a van, and that's how it represented that it was electric. And the hood opened. And the hood opened from the top of the windshield instead of the bottom, as an example. Then he said, let me show you what I got when I prepared for this session. And it was this beautiful high-tech photograph of a city scene in New York with an electric vehicle going down the street with flashers on, and just light years of difference. They've made so many advancements just in a year. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like a year from now.
Yeah.
Are you working on specific areas of AI where it will enhance or help fleet managers do their jobs?
No, just that's one thing that's great about RTA is they have a lot of fleet managers on the product development team. So just presenting like potential ideas. Today was kind of our first conversation about how we're going to move forward on this, and just like coming up with ideas on what's possible. I think what's cool is we have seen over the last 20 years such great changes in the way that our society operates and how data is at our fingertips. And I think with AI, we're gonna see like an even quicker change. Like I think the next 5 years are gonna change quicker than the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that.
That same presentation, he talked about, if you think about the beginning of the internet, like back in the 80s, and I was around for that, I know you weren't, but we used to have dial-up phone connections to connect to the internet with the squelching and all that. And I forget how many years he said it took, to get to the part where we were actually on the internet and you didn't have to dial up. But then he made the comparison to AI and how fast it's developing. And he said it's going to be 1,000 times faster than the change from dial-up internet to, the Wi-Fi internet. Well, thanks for that. So the next question we like to ask isn't as pleasant, but everybody has stories. We call it the low road. So, not everything works perfectly the first time, and we all learn from those situations. Do you have a situation where maybe things didn't go right, but that you learned something from it?
Yeah, so one of my learning opportunities I had was we wanted to switch from our fuel system provider. And at the time, we had 15 fuel sites, and we did about $3.7 million worth of fuel. So we had quite a lot of fuel running in and out of our fuel system. And what we learned was that the new system wasn't going to get the capabilities that we thought it was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up having to back out of the transition. And so what I learned was that anytime that you have the opportunity to pilot something, to take it. We learned later, after going through that process, that we could have piloted it with we have like a dummy fuel site that we could have used. So that is something that I would always recommend.
Yeah, great lesson, and thank you for sharing it. I actually had a very recent, just the last couple of years, when I was with DTE, I was responsible for implementing the EV program. And one thing that DTE had that a lot of companies don't have is a department within HR called change management. And they assigned a change management expert to my project. I had no idea it even existed, but boy, that was probably the single thing we did that created the most success. Thinking other than pilots, but that's one of the things that team brought up was, hey, can we pilot this? But they did multiple pilots. They recommended a lot of communication with teams that were going to be impacted by this change. It was really something very valuable, and I try to share that every chance I get. Well, that was interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. And then the last area that we'd like to talk about is the road less traveled. You mentioned your start in the industry, but what's something about Sara that we don't know or that the audience might not realize about you that you'd like to share?
Well, on the road less traveled piece there, so for me, I started with RTA in July, so it was a big career shift for me. I was in government fleet. I was the director of fleet management for 9 years, and I probably could have stayed in that position till I retire. That's what a lot of people do, especially in government, because they do have excellent benefits and retirement packages.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to move on and learn something new and try something different. At the county, there wasn't a lot of upward movement for me because fleet is such a niche field. And so I've had a lot of conversations with many people about, is this the right decision? And a lot of people said that, if you're feeling like you're not being challenged or, you're kind of getting complacent, it is a good idea to try something new and do something different. And I think that having different and new experiences are kind of what makes you better as a person and makes you grow. And so, yeah, I would recommend that for anyone. If, try different experiences. It always doesn't mean a career change, but maybe it's volunteering for organizations like NAFA or AFLA, which I know you're involved heavily with, because it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone and you get to experience new things.
Yeah, you deserve a lot of credit for that. Not a lot of people are willing to get out of their comfort zone, but speaking from somebody that's been through his career already, you're young. That would have been a long time to be bored at your job. So I think you made the right move.
Okay.
Sara, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. We
Thanks
look
for
forward
having
to
me.
visiting again.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, Booker?